Hi, thank you for tuning in. I'm Nathan Tannenbaum, proud to welcome you to the championship round of the 25th Annual Nevada Science Bowl. We've got the best and the brightest high school students competing for cash prizes for their schools and an all-expenses-paid trip to the Department of Energy's National Science Bowl in our nation's capital. The first place team is going to win $5,000 for their school's math or science department. Our two finalists have emerged from an entire day of intense head-to-head competition. We want to introduce you to our team members as you do to tell us your name, the grade that you're in, how many years you've been participating in Science Bowl, and a silly question that we ask our students just to loosen them up a little bit and have some fun. Tell me your favorite soup. We'll start up with B1. B1.
Hi, I'm Matthew Bauer, 10th grade, first time doing Science Bowl, and I guess my favorite soup is chicken noodle.
Excellent. And for the folks at home, you guys are from Davidson School, and where is Davidson?
Reno.
In Reno? Okay, now let's go with position B2. Buzz in. And B2.
Hello, my name is Renik Kumar. I am a junior, and this is going to be my first time doing Science Bowl. And I'd say my favorite soup is probably also chicken noodle soup.
Awesome. B, Captain.
Hi, my name is Paulo Adahar. I'm a junior at the Davidson Academy of Nevada. This is my second year doing Science Bowl, and my favorite soup is probably miso soup.
Miso. Awesome. I love that kind of soup. Yes, sir. And B3.
All right, hi, my name is Hayden Bradstreet. I'm a senior. This is my first year in Science Bowl. I guess my favorite soup is probably tomato.
Excellent. You can't go wrong with tomato soup. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the kids from the Davidson Academy in Reno. Now we'll meet the kids from Clark High School in here on our final round, starting with A1.
My name is Vidu Ramakrishnan. I'm a freshman at Clark High School. I've been doing Science Bowl for 4 years, and my favorite soup is chicken noodle soup.
See how easy that was? That was great. Thank you, sir. A2.
My name is Ashish Kalakuntla. I'm a freshman at Clark High School. This is my 4th year doing Science Bowl, and my favorite soup is tomato basil soup.
Oh, tomato basil. There you go. Nice. And a captain.
My name is Jay Desai. I'm a sophomore at Clark High School. I've been doing Science Bowl for around 4 years, and my favorite soup is minestrone soup.
Oh, love minestrone. You're making me hungry. And A3.
Hey Nate, I'm Lyle Carrera, a junior at Clark High School. This is my 6th year in Science Bowl, and my favorite soup has definitely got to be clam chowder.
Clam chowder.
New England
Yum.
specifically.
Now we're making the folks at home hungry as well. We also wanted to make sure you guys know there are a lot of people who are working behind the scenes to make the Nevada Science Bowl the success that it is. There are people called timekeepers because we have timed rounds. We have scientific judges that are making sure we're asking the questions correctly. And there are people who are doing what I'm doing called moderating in round after round that took place in some classrooms here at Vegas PBS prior to getting here. And there are untold other volunteers that are working behind the scenes, and we thank them for making Science Bowl a success. You know what? None of this could be possible without the generous support of our sponsors, and we're going to give them a special shout out and some recognition later in our program. And we cannot forget the teachers and the coaches who have brought their teams to the Science Bowl from some far reaches of the state. Now, a quick look at our format and our rules. For those who are unfamiliar with our Science Bowl, there's going to be an 8-minute round of questions and answers. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and then we'll have our final 8-minute round. All right. Students, the championship round of the 2016 Nevada Science Bowl begins after I read this first question, which is a toss-up for both teams. The category is Earth and Space, and this is a short answer question. What class of barred spiral galaxies has the most tightly wound arms? And that is A2?
Type 2?
No. B1?
Type 1.
No, we were looking for SBA. So we move to a toss-up question. This is for both teams. The category is energy, and this is a short answer question. What energy use comprises the greatest percentage of energy used in commercial buildings in the United States? And that is B, Captain.
Lighting?
That's incorrect. A3.
Climate control.
Judges, can we accept that? Okay, that is acceptable to our judges, so it's a bonus question and it is for Team A only. Energy is the category, it's a short answer question. Uranium-235 and plutonium-239 can be used as fuel in a reactor because they're fissile. Uranium-238, the most abundant form of natural uranium, is not fissile. but can be converted to plutonium by absorbing neutrons. What term describes material that can be converted to fuel in this way? You have 20 seconds.
Transmutable.
Really?
No.
Transmissible, probably? Oh, no. No.
Just go transmutable.
I think it's transmutable.
Just go transmutable.
Sure, why not? Transmutable.
That's incorrect. We were looking for fertile, so no bonus points. Here's a toss-up. It's for both teams. Physics is your category. This is a short answer question. Identify all of the following 4 elements that are most commonly used as semiconductor material in integrated circuits. 1. Silicon. 2. Copper. 3. Germanium. 4. Indium. And that is B, Captain.
1 and 3.
That's correct. We have a bonus question. It is for Team B only. Physics is your category. This is a multiple choice question. Which of the following particles does not correspond to one of the 4 basic types of radiation? W, electron. X, helium nucleus. Y, photon. Z, lithium nucleus. You've got 20 seconds.
Z.
That's correct, and you've got bonus points. Next, a toss-up for both teams. Biology is your category, and this is a multiple choice question. Which of the following provides the best example of a situation in which genetic drift would play a significant role within a population? W. Non-random mating among plants with purple flowers leads to inbreeding and homozygous lethal conditions that prevent seed germination. X. In a large population of plants with purple flowers, one individual exhibits white flowers caused by a mutation. Y. In a small population of plants with purple flowers, 3 white-flowered individuals exist. A deer eats 2 of the 3 white-flowered plants, thus, and that is B3.
Y.
Y is correct. Here's a bonus question. It is for Team B only. The category is biology. It is a short answer question. Phosphofructokinase catalyzes the formation of what molecule from fructose 6-phosphate? You have 20 seconds.
6-bisphosphate.
Fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Wait.
Okay.
Fructose 1,6-bisphosphate.
That is correct, and you've got bonus points. Now, this toss-up for both teams. Your category is math, and this is a multiple choice question. Let f of x be a polynomial function with real coefficients and at least 1 real root. Which of the following must be true? W. F of x has an even number of non-real complex roots. X. F of x is of odd degree. Y. F of x is an even function. Z. The graph of f of x has a horizontal asymptote. And that is A2.
X.
X is incorrect. B, Captain.
W.
W is correct. Here's a bonus question. It is for Team B only. The category is math, and you have a short answer question. A square has sides of length 10 centimeters. In square centimeters, what's the difference between the areas of its circumscribing circle and its inscribed circle? You've got 20 seconds.
5 root 2. 5 root 2 squared is 50 pi, so 25 pi.
Wait, 5 root 2? No, the inside is just 5. The inside is just 5.
Yeah, so inside circle is 25 pi and the outside circle?
Oh, yes. Okay, so that's 5 root 2, so that's 50 minus 5. 50 minus 25, so 25 pi?
25 pi.
25 pi.
That is correct, and you've got bonus points. Here's a toss-up. It is for both teams. Chemistry is your category. This is a short answer question. Molten cryolite is used in what industrial process? A3.
Glass.
That's incorrect. B1.
Smelting.
No, it is the Hall-Héroult process. Next is a toss-up for both teams. Earth and space is your category. It is a multiple choice question. Which of the following clay minerals forms from the weathering of feldspar and is the main component of most porcelain? W. Kaolinite. X. Chlorite. Y. Saponite. Z. Vermiculite. A2.
W.
W is correct. Here's a bonus question. It is for Team B only. Make that for Team A only. The category is Earth and Space. It is a short answer question. What is the right ascension to the nearest hour of the sun on the summer solstice? You have 20 seconds.
Right, is that? It's in your hour. Yeah, it's in your hour. 12 hours. 12 hours. 12. Yeah. 12. Yeah. 12. Yes, 12 hours in hours.
12 hours?
That is incorrect. We were looking for 6. No bonus points. This toss-up is for both teams. Physics is your category, and it is a short answer question. What force-carrying particle holds quarks together inside? And that is A2.
Gluon.
That is correct. Here's a bonus question, and it is for Team A only. Physics is your category. This is a short answer question. You're standing at home plate on a baseball diamond. From 20 meters away, a pitcher throws a 100-gram baseball towards you at negative 40 meters per second. The baseball strikes you in the arm and bounces directly back to the pitcher at plus 5 meters per second. What impulse in Newton seconds rounded to the nearest tenth did your arm deliver to the ball during the collision? You have 20 seconds.
It's it's a change of 45 meters per second, and you multiply that by 0.1, should be 4.5. It's positive, right? Because you change it.
You change from negative to positive.
4.5.
4.5.
That is correct, and you've got bonus points. This is a toss-up question for both teams now. Biology is your category, and it's a short answer question. Chlorophyll is a pigment that chelates what metal center? B3.
Magnesium.
Yes, here's a bonus question. It is for Team B only. Biology is your category, and this is a multiple choice question. Which of the following hormones is most pronouncedly elevated in a woman undergoing menopause? W, follicle stimulating hormone. X, estrogen. Y, progesterone. Z, testosterone. You have 20 seconds.
Why?
No, it's not. I think it's either W or T, or W or Z.
W or Z?
W or Z?
What do you want to go with? You want to go
Wait,
with Z?
testosterone?
Do you think it's W or Z?
I don't know.
I want to go with maybe W.
W.
Okay. W.
W is correct. You've got bonus points. Next, a toss-up for both teams. Math is your category, and this is a multiple choice question. Which of the following equations does not include the half line y equals x, where x and y are positive in its solution set? W, x to the v power equals y to the x power. X, cosine of the product xy equals sine of the product xy. Y, x natural log of y equals y natural log of x. Z, 2 to the x power plus 3 to the y power equals 2 to the y power plus 3 to the x power. And that is A2.
Z?
Z is incorrect. B, Captain.
X.
X is correct. This is a bonus question now, and it is for Team B only. Math is your category. It's a short answer question. A national achievement test is administered. The test has a mean score of 100 and a standard deviation of 10. If Anne's Z-score is negative 1.3, what is her score on the test? You've got 20 seconds.
87, right?
Yeah, 10 times 1.3, subtract from 100, 87. Yep.
87.
87.
That is correct. You got bonus points. And we have come to the end of our first round. We're going to take a short break and introduce you guys to what's going on behind the scenes and how Science Bowl works. We'll be back with the second half in 2 minutes.
The second half of the 2016 Nevada Science Bowl is about to get underway. But first, let's take a look at how our two competing teams got to this championship match. The Nevada Science Bowl, Nevada's premier academic competition, begins Friday night with registration held this year at Sunset Station in Las Vegas. Teams of students pick up name badges and goodie bags. Nevada Science Bowl volunteers are there to help every step of the way. Then it's time for team photos and making new friends and grabbing a bite to eat. Then it's down to business. Science Bowl officials review the rules with all team members, and then there's the mock competition so students can be ready for the real thing. The academic competition starts bright and early on Saturday morning with the best and brightest from Nevada, Utah, and California squaring off in head-to-head matches. Tough questions in math and the sciences test the minds of the students. The top 12 teams win cash prizes for use in their school's math or science department. In the final match, an all-expenses-paid trip to Washington, D.C. for the Department of Energy's National Science Bowl is also at stake. Supporting these super smart students are dozens of volunteers who donate their time to organize and staff the Nevada Science Bowl. Terrific sponsors like the National Nuclear Security Administration Nevada Site Office, National Security Technologies, Northrop Grumman, Vegas PBS, the Department of the Interior, Navarro, and Centerra Nevada all donate funds and services to support this outstanding educational event, the Nevada Science Bowl. One by one, 32 teams advance or face elimination. Finally, it all comes down to the final two teams squaring off to determine the 2016 Nevada Science Bowl champion.
As we begin our second half, the score stands with Davidson from Reno at 70, Clark with 22. Anything can happen in our second half. It is a full 8-minute half. Before we begin, we wanted to introduce some new players, and we'll do what we did at the beginning. We'll have the players test their buzzer, tell us their name, their grade, how many years they've been doing Science Bowl, and their favorite soup, just for fun. So go ahead. B1.
Hello, my name is Eric Liu. I'm a junior at the Davidson Academy. This is my first year in Science Bowl, and my favorite soup is clam chowder.
Clam chowder's awesome. Good choice. Anybody else? You guys look all familiar. Now we do have a new player from Clark, and it's position A1. Go ahead.
I'm Jeff, and I'm in 9th grade. I'm a freshman. This is my first year in Science Bowl, and I probably like clam chowder the best.
Well, now clam chowder seems to be winning out. That's great. Okay, you guys are all ready to go? So the second half begins after I finish this question, which is a toss-up for both teams, and the category is chemistry. It is a short answer question. Order the following 3 ions from smallest to largest in terms of ionic radii. 1, Cl minus, 2, Br minus, 3, O2 minus. And that's B, Captain.
O2 minus, Cl minus, Br minus.
And judges, I wasn't following there. Were we good on that? That is correct. Okay. And that is correct. So you get a bonus question. Stop the clock, please.
Were those exactly how they...
Yeah, O2 minus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, you're all good. Okay, we'll start the clock again and go with the bonus question for Team B only. Chemistry is your category, and it's a short answer question. What is the general term for the type of catalyst one would use when reacting to immiscible substances or substances in different phases? You have 20 seconds.
It's not emulsifier, is it?
It might be an emulsifier, like...
No, I don't know if there's a specific catalyst you use, though.
You have any idea?
Actually, maybe let's go with
You want to go with emulsifier?
That sounds reasonable.
Emulsifier?
That's incorrect. We were looking for phase transfer catalyst. So no bonus points. We move to a toss-up for both teams. Energy is your category, and this is a multiple choice question. Which of the following policies allows users with renewable energy sources to sell excess electricity generated? And that is A3.
Cap and trade.
That is incorrect, and that is an interrupt. I will reread the question in its entirety now for Team B only. Energy is the category, multiple choice. Which of the following policies allows users with renewable energy sources to sell excess electricity generated to the utility grid and receive compensation? W, renewable energy portfolio standards. X, feed-in tariff. Y, net metering agreement. Z, carbon cap and trade. You have already been disqualified. You had an interrupt, so that does not count. We will not call on Team A. B, Captain.
Z.
Z is incorrect. We were looking for Y, net metering agreement. We move to a toss-up question for both teams. Now in the category is math. It is a multiple choice question. Given 2 sets, A and B, with A union B containing exactly 3 elements, which of the following must be true about sets A and B? W, each set contains at least 2 elements. X, each set contains at most 2 elements. Y, each set contains at least 3 elements. And that is A2.
Z?
Z is correct. Here's a bonus question, and it is for Team A only. Categories math, it's a short answer question. What's the area between the curves y equals x plus 3 and y equals x cubed between x equals 0 and x equals 1? You've got 20 seconds.
Okay, so it's the integral of the difference. So integral from 0 to 1 of x cubed minus x minus 3. Hopefully I didn't say that wrong because Dr. Wong will be mad, but the antiderivative is x to the 4th over 4 minus...
Negative 15 over... Wait. 15 over 4?
That is incorrect. We were looking for 13 over 4. No bonus points. It's a toss-up question now for both teams. Biology is your category. It's a short answer question. What plant signaling molecule, similar instruction to aspirin, is thought to be produced around infection sites and carried by the phloem throughout the plant? And that is B2.
Abscisic acid.
That is incorrect. And that's A2.
Ethylene?
That's incorrect. We were looking for methyl silicic acid. And we have a toss-up question now for both teams. The category is physics. It's a short answer question. What dimensionless quantity is usually defined as the useful output of a heat engine divided by the amount of heat energy input? B3.
Efficiency.
That is correct. Here's a bonus question. It's for Team B only. Physics is your category. It's a multiple choice question. By what factor is the intensity of a sound wave multiplied when both angular frequency and the displacement amplitude are halved? W, 1/16, X, 1/4, Y, 4, Z, 16. You've got 20 seconds.
Angular frequency and distance. Distance makes it multiply by 4. What about frequency?
Frequency, I think, is linear.
1/16, 1/4. Frequency is linear.
So
So
that
can't be
would
right. That wouldn't make it 1. 1/16. What do you want to go with? 1/4. Okay. X.
X is incorrect. We're looking for W, 1/16. No bonus points. This toss-up is for both teams. Chemistry is your category. It's a short answer question. What's the name for the change in rate of reaction when one of the atoms in the reactants is substituted with one of its isotopes? B2.
Isotopic reaction change?
No. A3.
Isotopic difference?
No, it is the kinetic isotope effect. Next is a toss-up for both teams. Earth and space is your category. This is a multiple choice question. Which of the following gases varies the most by volume within the planetary boundary layer? W, ozone, X, oxygen, Y, water vapor, Z, carbon dioxide. And that's B, Captain.
Y.
Y is correct. Here's a bonus question. It is for Team B only. Earth and space is your category. This is a short answer question. Given that the global average precipitation is 1,000 millimeters per year, and the total water vapor in the Earth's atmosphere is estimated to equal a liquid water layer of 25 millimeters, to the nearest whole number of days, what's the average residence time of water vapor in the Earth's atmosphere? You got 20 seconds.
The radius of the Earth. Doesn't matter. I would think it would be 40.
No, like here.
I would think it would be 40.
So I would 25 millimeters at like instantaneous point.
No, I don't think so. With 40.
Yeah, let's go with 40. Something.
5 seconds.
40.
That's incorrect. We were looking for 9. No bonus points. Here's a toss-up for both teams. Earth and space is your category. A multiple choice question. Striations, U-shaped valleys, and fjords, well, they're all landscape features formed by what? And that's B2.
Glaciers.
That's incorrect. That's an interrupt. I will reread the question in its entirety now for Team A only. Earth and space, the category, multiple choice. Striations, U-shaped valleys, fjords, all landscape features formed by what process? W, fluvial erosion. X, fluvial deposition. Y, glacial erosion. Z, glacial deposition. That's A2.
Z?
Z is incorrect. We're looking for Y, glacial erosion. Next is a toss-up for both teams. Energy is the category. It's a multiple choice question. Which of the following is the best estimate of the percent of electricity produced in the United States using petroleum in the year 2014? W, 1, X, 5, Y, 10, Z, 15. And that's A, Captain.
Y.
Y is incorrect. B, Captain.
Z.
Z is incorrect. We're looking for W, 1. Here's a toss-up question for both teams. Chemistry is your category. This is a short answer question. Identify all of the following 3 statements that are always true regarding an adiabatic process. 1, change in internal energy equals 0. 2, heat transfer equals 0. 3, change in internal energy equals heat transfer. And that's B, Captain.
2 only.
2 only is correct. Here's a bonus question. It is for Team B only. The category is chemistry. It's a short answer question. In organic synthesis, what metal is added to alkyl halides to generate nucleophilic Grignard reagents that can react with ketones and aldehydes? You have 20 seconds.
Mercury, I think. Mercury.
That's incorrect. We were looking for magnesium. We've run out of time, so we'll take a short break and find out who won. Our final score of the 2016 Science Bowl, the Davidson Academy of Nevada wins with 90. Clark High School of Las Vegas finishes with 30 points. They are our second place team and they win $2,500 for their school. But here are our champions for the 2016 Nevada Science Bowl from the Davidson Academy of Nevada. A check for $5,000, a trophy, and they're going to go to Washington, D.C. to represent Nevada in the National Science Bowl. Congratulations to the team and their coach, Brett Giusti. Great job, you guys. We hope you enjoyed watching the 2016 Nevada Science Bowl. We'll see you next year right here on Vegas PBS. Good night.